All right, let's talk about something that isn't just for philosophers, but for every single one of us trying to make our way through this messy, complicated world. We're diving into ethics. And no, this isn't going to be some dusty old lecture. We're going to see how ethics is actually a super practical tool for modern life.
So, let's just jump right in. Picture this. You get your hands on a government secret, a big one. This secret could save a ton of lives, but, and here's the catch, leaking it would absolutely harm national security. So what do? Yeah, there's no simple, clean answer, is there? That's the kind of high-stakes dilemma we're digging into.
And look, that's not just some random thought experiment. It's a perfect snapshot of the modern minefield we're all trying to navigate. In our public lives, our personal choices, even just scrolling on our phones, we're bumping into these tough ethical calls constantly.
And you know, this is what makes it so hard. The really tough decisions aren't between a good choice and a bad one. They're almost always between two good choices, two rights that are clashing. It's loyalty to your company versus your duty to do the right thing. It's the government's need for secrets versus the public's right to know. That's where it gets complicated.
So, if life is this moral minefield, how do we find our way through it? Well, you need a guide. You need an ethical compass. But what does that actually mean? What does that compass even look like in the real world?
Let's get one thing straight. When we talk about ethics, we are not talking about some ancient abstract rulebook. It's way more useful than that. Think of it more like a practical toolkit. It's a framework, a way of thinking that helps you break down a situation, weigh the different values at play, and make a decision you can stand by, especially when the answers aren't obvious.
And this right here is the key difference. The old school view of ethics felt like a bunch of don't do this, don't do that rules. Super rigid, kind of out of touch. But the modern view, the toolkit view, it's all about empowerment. It's not there to tell you you're wrong. It's a flexible guide that helps you figure out what you should do. It's about taking action.
Okay, theory is great, but let's actually put this compass to the test. Let's see how it works when we apply it to three really intense, very real dilemmas that people are grappling with right now.
First up, the whistleblower. I mean, just think about people like Edward Snowden or Julian Assange. These are individuals who found themselves in this unbelievable bind, caught between their loyalty to their organization and what they felt was a much bigger duty to the public.
This quote just nails the problem. It's that right versus right tension we were just talking about. On one hand, you have a very real duty to be loyal to your employer. But on the other hand, you have this moral conscience that's screaming at you, telling you that you just can't stay silent when you see something wrong.
And when you break it down like this, you can see just how many things are clashing in once. It's loyalty versus morality. It's secrecy versus transparency. It's protecting the person speaking out versus protecting national security. The choice is never, ever as simple as being a hero or a traitor. It's so much messier than that. Now let's shift gears to a different kind of minefield, one that pretty much every single one of us walks through every day, our digital life. We all love our free apps and services, don't we? But they're often built on a hidden ethical problem called surveillance capitalism.
So what on earth is surveillance capitalism? It sounds pretty intense, and it kind of is. Put simply, it's an economic system that's built on turning your personal data, everything from your life experiences to where you go, into a product that can be bought and sold for profit. It's the engine that powers a huge chunk of the modern internet.
And here's basically how it works, in 3 steps. First, companies collect huge amounts of data about you, what you click on, what you like, where you are. Step 2, powerful AI algorithms analyze all that data to build a profile and predict what you'll do next. And finally, step 3, they use those predictions to influence you, targeting you with ads and content designed to guide your choices, a lot of times without you even realizing it's happening.
This all leads to that famous and kind of uncomfortable question, if you're not paying for the product, are you the product? It really forces you to think about your own role in this whole system. In the economy of surveillance capitalism, it's our attention and our personal data that have become the real commodities.
Okay, for our final case study, we're going to move from the digital world into something deeply personal, maybe one of the most intimate ethical dilemmas anyone could face, the choices we have at the end of our lives and the right to die with dignity.
This entire debate really boils down to a fundamental clash between two incredibly powerful values. On one side, you have the sanctity of life, the idea that life itself is sacred and must be preserved no matter what. And on the other, you have the quality of life, the idea that personal autonomy and being free from unbearable suffering is what gives a life meaning and dignity.
You know, when palliative care can successfully manage a person's pain, the choice is often a bit clearer. But what happens when it can't? That's when we're forced to ask this profound question. Is the goal simply survival at any price, or is it to ensure a person has agency and can find a dignified end when their suffering becomes too much?
So you're probably seeing the pattern here. Whether we're talking about government secrets, digital privacy, or the most personal medical choices, these same core tensions keep showing up. It's duty versus conscience, security versus freedom, survival versus dignity. This just shows that our ethical compass isn't for just one kind of problem. It's for navigating all of them, especially the ones we haven't even thought of yet.
And as technology keeps accelerating, these dilemmas are only going to get more frequent and more complex. I mean, just the rise of artificial intelligence is opening up a whole new frontier of ethical questions that we're only just now starting to wrap our heads around. That ethical compass has seriously never been more important. And that brings us to the challenges that are right around the corner. So, I'll leave you with this one to think about. When an AI that's been trained on millions of human-made images creates a stunning piece of art, who's the artist? Is it the AI? Is it the programmer who wrote the code? Or is it all the people whose work the AI learned from? There's absolutely no easy answer to that, and it's a perfect dilemma for the next explainer. Thanks for joining me.